Okay, welcome to this tutorial. This is my Inset Text assignment, and it looks like this. Awesome. Love it. Love the reflection. Shadow, text that has inset to it, different color. Looks great. I'm going to animate this, but my render settings, the size of my file is 1280 by 1024. I need to change that because I want to animate, but I want to animate to the right size of my movie. So I need to change the size right away. So I'll click Edit Render Settings. Make sure the output is selected, and then I'm going to click the presets up here and go to Film Video and go to the first one, NTSC DV. It's going to give me a 720 by 480 size stage, which is great. That's all I need for this assignment. And I'm just going to close this window for now. And I can see that this is my 720 by 480, which is perfect. So I'm going to select Victoria and I'm going to move it. Then I'm going to find a spot on the timeline and then keyframe it. So those are your 3 steps. Find a spot on the timeline, move your object, and then keyframe it. In this case, I've selected the spot on the timeline, which is at 0, and I'm going to move Victoria. I'm going to move Victoria right off the stage so I don't see it. I know I see it, but I know that the edge of my movie frame is going to be right here. So I've moved it, and I just want to get the coordinates here. So I've moved it along the x-axis, and I'm going to right-click the letter X, animation, add keyframe. If I was keyframing all 3 of these coordinates, then I would right-click on the P. But in this case, I'm just moving along the X, so I don't need these extra keyframes. And then I'll find another spot on the timeline. Maybe I'll go to 60. And I'm going to move Victoria. I'm going to move it back to 0. And so I'll just double-click, select all of that, hit 0, and then enter. And I'm going to right-click. Notice how it's yellow, and it's hollow. I'm going to right-click, animation, add keyframe. Now it's that red again. And if I hit the return to start button and then hit play, I can see it move in. It's lovely. Just like that. Great. Now, I'm going to do the same thing with School of the Arts, but I'm going to find a spot on the timeline first. I don't want it moving right away. I want kind of, Victoria to be almost in the right spot before I start animating. So I'll move to maybe frame 40, select Arts, the Arts NURB, and I'm going to click and drag it right off the stage, like so. I'm going to do this from the top here too. So I'll just drag it right off. There we go. And once I've got that, you can see I've moved it along the Z. So I'll right-click, animation, add keyframe. And it shows up there. There's a little blue spot right there. And I could move this around if I wanted to, if I wasn't happy with it sitting at 40. So there we go. So now it's off. Then I'm going to move it to maybe, let's say 80, frame 80. And then I'm going to move it back into position. And I don't remember what numbers I had for the Z when I initially started. Maybe I should have checked that. But let's just check, see what this looks like. That's not bad. I'm good with that. So click Arts, and then I've moved it to -200. Okay. Right-click on Z, animation, add keyframe. This blue line, by the way, is the path. And then all of these dots are each of these frames. Okay, I'm going to hit the back button, and then I'll hit play. Victoria comes in, School of the Arts. And I have just a bit of time before it ends. Okay, so for example, if I don't like where this is, I can move this. So let's say I want to move it there. Now it's not going to move until 50. Just as Victoria stops. It's about to stop. I don't know. I'll probably put it back to 40. There we go. So that's all you need. You just need one word sliding in and the other words sliding in. Don't spin it or flip it or, yeah, don't do that. I wouldn't want you to do this from up above either. So don't bring it in from above, because this is what happens. You get this reflection on the surface, and it looks like School of the Arts is just hanging there in midair. So it doesn't look very good. I would have it sliding on the floor. And it makes sense because the floor looks so slick, doesn't it? Yeah. Anyways, it's going to move in. There we go. So once I'm happy with my animation, I'm going to make sure that I've got this saved as, and I'm just going to add ANI for animation, Annie, and go save in my F drive. And then I'm going to go up to render settings. And I did change my output size, which is great, but I also need to change the frame range. So I'm going to go to all frames. And then I'll go to save. And there's my inset text. And I'm going to call this Annie. And I need to change this from JPEG to AVI movie. Okay? So AVI movie, F drive, you've named it. Yep, Annie. And then output, making sure it's NTSC DV 720 480. Close this window. And then I'm going to hit the render to picture viewer button. And it's going to render out each of my frames, and you can see this. I don't have a lot happening in here. It's quite a simple animation. And if you keep it simple, it's not going to take long to render. But oftentimes, if you have a bunch of things happening, it takes much longer. It can take several minutes, it can take hours to render. So once the rendering's done, I can close this window, and I can navigate to my F drive and find that, and then I'm going to place that in the Q drive. Q drive hand in, and you'll navigate to my folder and submit it there. These files are just a little bit too big to upload to Moodle, so I don't want people doing that. But that is how you animate. Nice and easy, huh?